Billions of dollars is spent every year on illegal narcotics. Even though authorities try to intercept the drugs and apprehend the suppliers, traffickers, over the years, have developed a variety of inventive ways to smuggle their stash and avoid detection. In August 2016, along with tons more drugs, US border agents uncovered more than 4,000 pounds of marijuana hidden among limes. And in July 2016, border agents found over 200 pounds of meth hidden in 2 shipments of jalapenos and cucumbers. But food isn't the only method of concealment. Fake carrots, real donuts, catapults, drones, submarines, and the human stomach are a few of the common ways traffickers try to smuggle drugs around the world, and there are no doubt plenty more that we don't know about. However, there are plenty we do know about, so without further ado, here are 5 mind-blowing drug smuggling tactics used by the cartel, brought to you by UFeed. Let's get rolling. As in the video, not in the other kind of rolling that you might be thinking about. But hey, if you want to do that, go for it. Just make sure you subscribe and hit like before the wacky backy takes effect. You probably won't remember to do it later. Number 5. Mini subs. Smuggling drugs in a completely safe and structurally sound factory-made vehicle is for cowards. Real smugglers climb into leaky, rusty, homemade submarines to bootleg their cocaine. These things aren't just a couple of steel drums welded together. Police have found subs in Colombia and Mexico big enough to carry up to 11 tons of drugs. The cops recently seized a partially built sub that had hydraulic tubing, a protected propeller, a double hull, and the ability to dive below 300 feet. Costing from a few $100,000 to millions of dollars, these subs are usually crewed by small teams and have ranges of about 5,000 nautical miles. Generally, they carry several $100 million worth of drugs per trip. If you're wondering how you convince a drug mule to get inside one of those things, we're guessing that they figure that with 11 tons of drugs in the sub, nobody will notice if, at the end of the trip, a little has disappeared to line their own pockets or noses with. Number 4. Frozen sharks and seafood. In 2009, Mexican Marines searching a shipment of frozen sharks in Progreso, Yucatan, found packets of cocaine hidden inside the dead fish. One of the strangest discoveries yet made, BBC Mundo noted. The shipment of doped up sharks was not the only attempt to conceal narcotics in seafood. According to Radden Keefe, the notorious Guzman also made use of fish shipments, hoping the nature of the cargo would turn away prying eyes and noses. Guzman, the Sinaloa cartel boss, packaged drugs in truckloads of fish which inspectors, at a sweltering checkpoint, might not want to detain for too long. Number 3. Submarines. Narco subs, either fully fledged submarines or self-propelled semi-submersibles, are one of the most advanced and ambitious methods by which traffickers move narcotics. Traffickers' first expeditions into undersea drug smuggling transport were humble, but now they have conceived even better crewed semi-submersibles which have been built by engineers and constructed under the canopy of the Amazon, which are then floated downriver in pieces and assembled at the coastline. You don't want to imagine what the guys in these submarines are going through, sitting there underneath the ocean in one of those homemade submarines. Of course, submarines of any complexity are a costly undertaking, but the investment was minimal compared to the profits traffickers like Guzman have reaped in from just a handful of successfully delivered cargoes. They're investing tens, perhaps hundreds of thousands of dollars in some of these submarines, which again is nothing when you see the profit the cocaine traders are making, sometimes over $42 million from one shipment. I mean, the cocaine trade makes billions and billions of dollars every year, let alone the rest of the drugs. Number 2. Drones. In September 2015, a 26-pound bundle of marijuana, possibly carried by a drone, crashed through the home of a dog in a residential garden in Nogales, near the Mexican border. According to the homeowner, "It's right on top of our doghouse. It's destroyed it." Police are still investigating. the story and that accent. Just as drones have been used to get contraband into the US, people have attempted to use them to get contraband into prisons as well. A Maryland inmate serving a life sentence for murder and 2 other men were convicted of conspiring to smuggle drugs and pornography into a prison with a drone in March 2016. Number 1. Catapults. The US authorities have thrown up many barriers to attempt to try and stop the flow of drugs from Mexico to America. Guzman and other smugglers in response just throw their bundles higher. Cartels have been seen using big catapults to simply throw the drugs over the border. They just put the drugs there and over the border and the fence, and then someone picks it up on the other side. Catapults have been discovered on multiple occasions, and some of them capable of flinging drug packets over 100 meters. The use of this century-old piece of technology was especially galling for the US officials. According to Michael Braun, a former DEA official, cartels erect a fence on the US side only to go out there a few days later to find these guys of a catapult, and then they're flinging 100-pound bales of marijuana over the other side. Just a few weeks after President Donald Trump took office, American agents on the border came across a catapult strapped to an existing section of border fence where 2 bundles of nearly 50 pounds of marijuana were found nearby to it.